Welcome back to Team O'Neill. I'm Chris. I'm joined by Pete. We're here talking about fulfilling my drive in physical fitness. And one of the things I want to talk about with you, Pete, is self-assessment and deciding whether or not you really even need to work out to go racing. And that's something that for me, I spent a lot of time really thinking about my driving preparedness, my team preparedness, all the other things that I needed to go racing. Kind of physical fitness was lower on my priority list and mentally, but now that I've really done some training and realized where I was physically, I realized how far back I was and how much it was hindering me. So my goal is hopefully help get from you, what are some things I could do to assess whether or not I need to be working out? What are some of the tricks and tips that you've used to work with clients on, do you need coaching? Do you need physical fitness?
Well, I think everybody does.
That's a loaded question.
Everybody, yes, it is. Everybody needs physical fitness.
It's like if I interviewed Tim on Disney driver's training.
Right,
This
right,
is pretty much
exactly.
the same thing.
What I think of it more of, because I think everybody needs it, but what's the starting point? What's the best starting point for you? So, and that partly, it just like any goal, it's you come up with your main goal and then you work your way backwards from that. So if your goal is to be a rally driver, well, now we know a little bit about what qualities you need. So you need to have a solid base of conditioning. As I've said before, you need a solid base of some basic strength. You need core strength. You need mobility, and stability is huge. So what I use for assessments, and a lot of them you can do on your own body and yourself, would be one I like to take people through what's called a functional movement screen, which is basically 7 exercises or movement patterns that just give us a baseline idea of where you're at mobility and stability. So a lot of those, again, you can do yourself. One of them would be an active straight leg raise. So this would just be you're lying down on the ground and you're trying to lift one leg up in the air and you're seeing just how far you can lift that leg. We're testing both flexibility and mobility of the leg that you're lifting, but also the hip of the leg that's staying down. This is going to be an indicator of core strength and, again, mobility of those of the joints. From there, I like to move into a shoulder mobility screen. So that's something, again, you can do yourself. You can look in a mirror or face away from a mirror. Bring one hand up, one hand down, fists. Don't try to walk your hands together, just wherever they naturally fall. And look in them, see if you can see back in the mirror. If you can't see in the mirror, that's an indicator that you have some very poor mobility. So that's
Sign one.
a good place to stop the test. No, but what you want to do is you want to see that your fists are about a hand's length apart. If they're any beyond that, you might be lacking mobility. Also, even bigger importance is symmetry. So we want to see that both this side and this side are equal. If one side's less than a hand, but the other side's more than a hand, that's another area that we're going to want to revisit and improve upon. So that's the second screen. The third one, now we're getting into more specific core function. So we're going to do what's called a rotary stability test. So for that, we're just going to be on hands and knees. We're going to bring our hands and knees about 4 to 6 inches apart, and we're going to be bringing elbow and knee together and then extending them straight out into the air and seeing if we can do that without falling over. If we can't do it that way, we're going to do cross body and repeat. A lot of these screens are rated on a 0 to 3. And we're not looking, 3 is perfect, 0 is a fail. We're not looking for 3s. 2s are going to be good enough to get you racing. So what we will be cognizant of, though, is if there's like a 3 on one side of the body and a 2 on the other. That's going to be more of those discrepancies. And then after the rotary stability test, then we are going to be doing a trunk stability, a push-up test. For this, I do it a little bit differently, but if you're going to just do it on yourself, honestly, just doing as many push-ups as you can is going to give you most of the information that you need. If you can do it with somebody watching you or in a mirror again, you can see if your back is sagging or if you're able to maintain a nice straight spine, straight posture. And then from there, we do more of a standing, or what we call more of a functional screens. So then we get into things like a lunge or a split squat. So then we're gonna have 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, bring the back knee down, and then come back up, see if you can maintain your balance side to side, front to back. And then we have a knee raise, basically another balance test. So for this, we're just gonna stand, hands behind your head, have your feet right together, and you're gonna lift one knee up as high as you can, and just gonna hold it up there and see how long you can maintain your balance for, and then do the same thing on the other side. And we're just trying to make sure that you're not doing any of these numbers and you're able to stay nice and straight and hold that position for a period of time. And then the last one would be a squat screen, where you can take just a broom handle, hold it straight up over your head, and you're just trying to squat down as low as you can, keeping your feet flat on the ground. Those would be your stability, mobility tests. They're just going to give us an idea of what exercises moving forward with those, like those tying it in with the kettlebell exercises, where we want to start with those exercises.
So refer back to our fundamentals of the kettlebell video if you want to understand what he's talking about right now.
This is why this is a loaded question. That's what I'm saying. I'm going.
Yeah.
But that, and again, with these, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to me. I can give you a lot more information and a lot more.
And I've learned a ton about myself when we had the ability to assess. And I believe we ended with just a general run, right? Like
Yes.
run as far as you can. Or
Yeah.
I forget what you were looking for on that.
So with that, I mean, there's a few. One is just to see the distance. So with this, you can do like a 5-minute warm up on a treadmill. A treadmill is ideal because that way you get an actual distance. So we do like a 5-minute warm up, and then you're gonna set the treadmill for 10 minutes, and you're gonna go as high of an incline and high of a speed as you can, and go as far as you can in 10 minutes, and write that data down, write that final number down. That's part of it, is your distance. The other part is heart rate recovery that we're looking for. So taking your heart rate before you even get on the treadmill, just to give you an idea, ideally even in the first thing in the morning when you wake up, and do that for a few days in a row, like let's say 5 days, write down a notebook, see where it's at. That gives you a good average of your resting heart rate. And now you can get on the treadmill, do that setup, the 5-minute warm up, 10 minutes, get as fast and far as you can go. And then from there, immediately after the 10 minutes stops, take your heart rate again, see where it is, and then take it again 1 minute later. You can do it again another minute after that. And what we want to see is how long it takes for you to get from that maximum heart rate that you achieved right at the end of the 10 minutes. See how fast we can get it to drop down to 100 or even below 100.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so it's obviously once we have a baseline, then you can build a workout program,
Yes.
right? And that's something that having a good coach can just save you a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right. That was one of my biggest fears of going in the gym, is I just don't know what all this stuff is and how to use it effectively. And it's something that you've really been able to teach me. One, where I was physically when we started and how to use the tools that are in the gym. For me, I really enjoy that we pretty much use only basic tools. We use very little equipment, and there's a lot you can do with just some basic weights and really help build your fitness and your ability to maintain and grow.
Absolutely. Well, anything we can do to remove any excuses. You know, it's easy to say like, well, I just don't have time to go to the gym today. So if you can, there's so many things you don't need a gym for.
Right.
So,
that's been nice for me traveling. I travel a lot for work and business, and every hotel gym has got the basics. And so all the workouts that you've taught me so far, I've been able to do right there. So thank you for everything. And it's super important for anything that you want to do in your life to be healthy, stay healthy. And if you want to reach out to Pete, we'll put his stuff in the notes section of the video. Leave a comment. We'll have Pete respond with some comments too if you guys have any questions specifically. And we'll be doing a lot more videos together, Pete. So look forward to our future videos. Thank you guys.
This is just the assessment. I haven't even started working out yet.